are watching Prophetic Revelation TV.
You're watching Prophetic Revelation TV.
You are watching Prophetic Revelation TV.
You're watching Prophetic Revelation TV.
Welcome everybody back to another installment of Prophetic Generation here on Prophetic Revelation TV. I'm here with three youth members, Alex, Adau, and Faith, who's back for another round. Before we get into everything, Alex, I'll start with you. Tell us a bit about yourself. Give us a brief introduction, your age, what grade you're in, that kind of thing.
My name is Alex. I'm 13. I'm in year 8, and I'm the oldest child.
Okay. Adau, we'll go to you next.
I'm Adau, I'm 14, and I'm the fourth out of 6 children, and I'm also in year 8.
All right. Now, Faith, you've been here before, but just give us a quick reintroduction in case anyone's forgot.
So my name is Faith. I am 17 years old, in year 12, graduating in 3 weeks, and I am the oldest child out of a family of 4.
Okay. Now, everybody is here today because they all have something in common, besides being in school and being Streams Youth, is that they are all enrolled in our junior discipleship program. Now, most of you might be aware there is an adult discipleship program, but there's also one specifically for juniors and youth, and these three are all part of it. And they're here today because I want to ask them a few questions, get their perspectives on how the class is, how they are for you guys, and hopefully, if you have a youth who's around the same age, maybe you'll consider enrolling them as well. But it depends on your answers here, so no pressure to you guys, all right? First question, Faith, I'll start with you on this one. How long have you been attending discipleship?
So it was kind of around the start of 2021 is when the class was established.
Okay.
I think majority of the class that it is today, it's a big class now because when there's new, youth, we kind of just bring them in. But we all kind of joined around the same time, which is probably around April or May 2021, when Mama first started the class.
Okay.
And so I think that was kind of around the first time when I started doing the class with majority of our youth members. And
So you three were also at the same time?
I think we were all part of that.
Okay. That
Group.
first class?
Yeah,
all right.
the first OGs. But yeah, it's been a long journey. But yeah, we've been in it for quite a while now, which is it's been a good time.
Okay, yeah, that is quite a while. That's more than a year that you've been in this class. Okay, Adau, this is the next question. What do you guys kind of like learn about or hear in class? Like, what's the general theme or what's the purpose of the class?
I guess it's like to be better Christians, in a way. Like, majority of our topics are like based around basic Christian knowledge. Like, for example, prayer, how to pray, and salvation. Yeah, like, we're mainly talking about how to apply those things to our lives.
Okay. Alex, from your perspective, what do you think the class is about? What have you been picking up? What's the main theme, do you think, from your perspective?
For me, I think it's like to be more connected with God and like to turn away from like the worldly stuff that we have as youth that
Okay.
distract us from God. Like to be more connected in with like learning about, because we've been learning about prayer and speaking in tongues and all of that. So I think that's like what we've been learning, and that's like what youth discipleship is to us.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And Faith, your perspective on that same kind of question. What do you think the theme is for you? How has it impacted you?
For me personally, I think it's been such a great opportunity to be part of the class because not just as a young individual, but as a young woman of God, there's a lot of things that the world tells you you can and can't be, what you can and can't do based on your gender or your age. And like for me, like age is like a big thing because people look down on you because you're young. And I think Mama and Pastor Leonie have taught us through each lesson that you're not defined by your age. And so when we were learning recently about prayer, to intercede in other people's, lives, to pray for them, you don't have to be a certain age. You just have to have faith. So I think it's very important for us as a junior discipleship class and as a youth group to, take these things into like our lives and like realize that, we're not bound by our age. And so we're actually like, children of God. So yeah, it's been a good class like for me to reflect on my own life and how I can apply it to my life. So yeah.
All right. These are great answers so far. I think people at home are going to be wanting to enroll their youth to junior discipleship. But before we go to any more questions, we're going to go to a quick break and we'll see you soon.
You are watching Prophetic Revelation TV.
You're watching Prophetic Revelation TV.
Welcome back, everybody. Still here with Faith, Adau, and Alex. Before we left, I was just asking them how they feel what the theme of the junior discipleship class is. And building on that, next question. I'll start with you, Faith, this time. Based on your personal experiences, how would you say the classes have impacted your life specifically?
Well, I'm in year 12, so I'm just about to graduate. So I actually just completed my trials.
Okay.
So a lot of prayer was needed, and it was very good for me to be able to learn about prayer right during the trials. So I was praying a lot during my trials. I was speaking in tongues. I was, talking to God every day during my trials because it's a very stressful time. It's a very stressful time.
Yeah, it
and
is.
You're thinking like, oh, these are my limits. Like I can't do this because you've got all this pressure. But during the classes, learning about prayer with Pastor Leonie and the junior discipleship class, and we were actually talking about how the different types of prayer. And the prayer of request, so you can let your request be known unto God and he will answer them. So knowing that during, my whole high school journey has been like great, but specifically in the time that I'm in now, that I need it, it was just great for me to, apply that to my life. But yeah, the whole class has just been great. In general, being born again, I've always been a Christian my entire life, but learning with Mama about salvation and being born again last year in August, about a year ago,
Okay.
Yeah, all of the class has been applied to my life very deeply, and it's consistent. So you can see it in the way I act. So
Okay.
I hope so. But yeah.
We'll get to that later. Okay. All right. Before you hand the mic on, you were just talking briefly about praying during your trials, and you learned that from the junior discipleship class. But when you learn things in class, it is important that the things you learn can be applied throughout the life. Not only can they be applied throughout your life, but that they actually work. So I'm getting to the point of, did it work for you?
Yeah, I think sometimes like when you learn things, you kind of just be like, okay, yeah. Like even like when we say I receive, you receive it, but you don't do. You just like I
You're just
receive,
doing
you
it,
know.
yeah.
So I think being consistent is the main thing that I had to do, because if I was just, listening in the class and being like learning about prayer, and I can if you quote me on like, oh, what types of prayer do you learn? The prayer request, prayer of praise, prayer of worship. Like I can quote them, but do I know? Do I practice it? Like it's for me. I think I had to actually sit down and like meditate on it and like talk to God about it. Because if I didn't, then I'd kind of be lying to myself. I'd be like, oh, why am I learning these things? Like, what is it? Like, what is it doing for me in my life? So it did work because, I think I actually did go to 101 with Papa for my trials because I wanted that, extra grace. And so I went to 101 and I was praying a lot because he said it is done. So I was praying, and I was thanking God for what he has done. And I was praying in tongues, as I always do. And so I sat my trials, and majority of them went really well. And I'm getting my marks back, but I'm just praying in faith that I did well because, I think I felt peace through the whole trials. Like there was no stress, no anxiety, no nothing, which I was feeling beforehand. But the second I started praying, gone. So I think, it's worth doing the class because you learn things that you didn't learn before, and your revelation has been like, you get a new revelation every single lesson you go into. So yeah.
That's great. Obviously, I've graduated. You're about to go. We know like the stress of the trials. These guys might not get it, but hearing it from me is great. It's great that it worked for you because I know how tough that can be. Now, Adau, I'll send the same question to you. Like personally, how do you think the classes, what you've learned, have impacted you as a person?
Impacted like a lot, of course. Like there every Sunday, something new. Like it was like a quick topic. It's always small stuff that you can pick up. Like we did a quick class about confidence, and obviously like confidence is a big thing in everyone's life. And like for me to be able to have confidence, it's like in high school especially, like you have to like step out of your shell and be able to like get out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like ever since last year, there's always salvation, and it's like always things that you can apply to your lives. Every class, like something that you can apply, something new that you can add a little twist to it, and it's just becoming your own thing. So yeah, I feel like yeah.
Okay. In any way, do you feel as if what you've learned from the classes have helped you in like a specific way? Do you have like an anecdote or like a story or something where you can look back and be like, yeah, that teaching applied directly to what I'm doing right now, and it did help me?
I guess like in presentations, like if I was to like step out and like talk to like a large group of people, like I wouldn't be able to do that. But as I was saying about confidence, like now I'm able to like, just get out there and yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. It's very important that when you do these junior discipleship classes, that what you're learning is not just something that you just keep in church. You know what I mean? Like it's something that is practical and can be applied to other places, because the world would like to tell you that church is a very separate thing to everything else, and keep church in church because it's useless everywhere else. I think it's very important that people understand, you guys are telling us, and people understand at home that it's more than just church. It can be applied everywhere, and you don't have to make that separation. It's embedded everywhere. So that being said, Alex, your turn. About how do you feel like the classes have impacted you? How have they helped you? How have they, given you a different perspective? That kind of thing.
As Adau said about confidence, it's helped me a lot in school with confidence because when I first started high school, I was very shy. I only had like 2 friends that I knew from my primary school. But ever since I started going to youth discipleship, started learning about salvation and confidence and faith and all of that, I've actually gotten close with like more people, like talk to them about Christ and all of that. And a lot of the new year sevens that come to my school, like whenever I see them like getting into trouble, like turning into the world, I always tell them to like stop and like think about what you're doing, like,
Okay.
and like I'm more confident with more people. Like I can just go up to random people and just like have a conversation with them. And I've noticed that my friends that I hang around with, I have to like cut off the ones that are more in the world, and I've been hanging around
Okay.
with friends that go to church and like play sports and like set their mind on things of like church and godly stuff and all that. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Now we've gotten yourselves out of the way. Obviously, you don't do the classes alone. There's you three, and then there's a huge class from what I've been told. So, based on what you can see from your friends and your classmates, how do you think the classes have changed them or impacted them? Just based on what you can see of what some of them have told you, that kind of thing. Adau, I'll start with you.
Yeah, like as you said, like it was a big class. Like it used to be. Let me just say this: like it was a separation, like between a lot of us. Like me and her would be somewhere, and then it'd be like the boys here, and it's like we
Okay.
don't talk to each other, yeah. But now that we see each other every Sunday, we're here, one accord to hear this person teach us something, that we're all learning about. It's like, we're, at this point, we have to like talk to each other. So
Okay.
yeah, it's like we're stuck together. So yeah, gotten closer heaps.
Okay, that's good. So there was a division. Yeah. Okay. There was a division in the class, but now that you're doing the junior discipleship together, you'd say there's a kind of a unity that's coming between us, showing you're more of a church family kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now faith. On that question, based on the start of the class to where you guys are now, how do you feel your classmates have changed? How do you feel their behavior has changed? The way they talk has changed? How do you think the class has impacted them?
This one's a big question because I have a lot to say about this one because
Okay.
the changes are endless. Like I can look at each individual and name 10 plus things that have changed out of each person.
Okay, give us a few for a few people.
So I'll give you first. My girl Adau.
Okay.
Adau, I met Adau 2020. I remember when we first met, it was at St. Mary's, and this was, as I've spoken about with our interview with Hope, we were going through a bit of a rough patch with streams at this point. So
Okay.
it was kind of, when I met Adau, it was like the only reason I was coming to streams was to see, my friends, because I was kind of like not having that spiritual connection yet. And so Adau and I kind of had that kind of, relationship where we would like, be joking around, like, but ever since we've kind of connected, I've seen Adau grow in, in the spirit, and I've seen her, speak in tongues in church when we're over there worshiping, and I've seen her grow in confidence. She's more confident to pray in front of people, speak in tongues, etc. Then you've got some of the boys in the class, including Alex, as there was, the division, as Adau was talking about, the division was, there was little, cliques in the, junior discipleship class when it first started, because
Yeah.
I remember when it first started, it was also kind of awkward for me because I'm much older than everyone in the class, because there was only 2 other people my age here, and that was Samisi and Adot. But Adau was in the class, so Missy wasn't, so it was only her. So I kind of clung on to her because I had no one else my age. I couldn't relate to anyone else, couldn't talk about anything.
Okay.
But I was very isolated because I felt like everyone had, little conversations, and I was like, what is this? And it was very boys split girls. You could see
Okay.
that in the seating arrangements, everything. But now on Sundays, everyone kind of talks to each other across, still maybe boys and girls, but you'll have conversations chucking across, everyone will be laughing with each other, everyone will be, interacting with one another.
Not during church, just by
Yeah,
the
not
way.
during church, outside,
Yeah,
during
after church,
discipleship.
during fellowship
Yeah.
time. Okay.
And
Okay, good.
that leads up when we finish that. I've seen how people interact with one another. It's kind of made friendships, not just, for the class, but once we come up here and we sit next to each other, there used to be kind of the, you sit next to your friends in church and you kind of that, but now the whole rows are taken out by all of us and we all sit with each other because, we all enjoy that. And so I think it also leads outside of church because of junior discipleship. We've all grown closer as a youth group. And so we plan events, we go out together. That
Okay.
never happened last year. Like it would happen once every 6 months, but now it's like everyone will be like, do you want to go out? Like everyone wants to go out with each other. Like doesn't matter who, we'll go out after church for lunch. We'll do things together because that's how close we are now. And so I think the class has really impacted us as a class.
Okay,
So
that's great. So would you say, as a TLDR, that before it was very much kind of, and even leading up to where we are now, was more of a sort of like, this is just like my church group of friends kind of thing. But now that you've gone through the class, you've grown, and it's more like this is genuine friendships that you take out into the world. And as you're growing up and as you go through your various walks of life, there's a genuine connections and genuine friendships, people you can genuinely talk to and lean on, as opposed to just, these are just people I see at church. That's the kind of changes.
yeah, I think once I started understanding that these people like care about me, these people like actually have genuine feelings for me, like they genuinely love me, and like I started seeing that this is my home, my church. I started changing the way I look at these people, and so I actually don't call them my friends, I call them my family. All my friends at school are kind of jealous because like, you don't call us your family like you do. I'm like, I call them my school friends, once I graduate, they'll, separate paths. You can see it already. I can already see it now,
Oh, wow.
But I see that, my friends are all at school going this way, I'm going this way, and who do I see next to me? Them.
Your church
so
family.
that's why I like have so much like love and appreciation for them because growing in this class with them, spiritually, and even just like, being able to connect with them on an emotional level. Sometimes like, if you have something that you're like, it's like a burden, like you might have something at school going on, I can talk to any one of those kids in that class. And like, even, there's Leah who's, 11, but literally she can like talk to me like that. She'll pick up the phone when you need a ring. Like it's like such close bonds that we've made over the past year, probably 8 months now, because this year was kind of the line where we kind of realized that we're going to take this class seriously, take our relationship seriously.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been such a beautiful journey to see everyone's growth, and I'm so grateful to be part of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. Now, Alex, based on that, is there anything else you can add to that about how you feel the classes have changed from when you first started to now?
I think our youth discipleship has bonded, as Adau and Faith has said. We bonded like really close and we're like family. Cause at the start of last year, we were like split. As Faith said, it was just the boys and girls side.
Okay.
But during the year, we did a lot of items and skits, and that's what I think really bonded us together.
Okay, having to work together and plan these kinds of things.
And then we had at the end of that last year, we had a youth camp,
Yeah.
and that's like what really like, that's how we like really became friends and like got to know each other more. And that's like, if you come to our youth discipleship now, it's like you feel like you're left out, but like when you get to know us, you like become family like instantly. So like yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's brilliant. Guys, I've had a great time interviewing you guys. I'm sure everybody at home has had a great time listening to these questions. Now, this was only part one of the interview, because this is just a small sample of people that are in the junior discipleship. This is part one. So thank you guys for coming on the show. Thank you for answering the questions. And thank you for watching. I'll be back with part two with more members of our junior discipleship, and I can't wait, and I know you can't wait. So I'll see you then. Shalom.
You are watching Prophetic Revelation TV.
You're watching Prophetic Revelation TV.
You are watching Prophetic Revelation TV.
You're watching Prophetic Revelation TV.